I think for me, the biggest change is just how much more I move my body and just how much more free my body is to move. Before I joined and took part in this training and this program, I just remember going into new spaces or new restaurants, or if I was like walking down a plane, that for me was always like the most difficult if I was boarding an airplane. And just wondering like, how is my body going to fit in these spaces? Is my body going to fit in a seat? And that is very taxing to carry with you, planning where you eat based on whether or not it has seats that can accommodate your body, or if you have to sit on a bench. That is a lot of just fatigue there, right? And so no longer carrying that around is something very significant for me, that I'm no longer thinking about that. I just needed someone to help me with accountability, because what I was doing just wasn't working at all. And I always had just every justification under the sun for everything that I was doing. And I would say the other part of what I was looking for was I just wanted to outsource a lot of the emotional fatigue and the planning and the preparation work. I wanted to be able to give someone all my information and just have them set something up for me. I work in business, and so part of that is optimizing to your strengths. Doing strengths-based work is probably the best way to get things done in corporate America. So I figured, why not apply that principle to my personal life and to my health and to my weight and to my fitness. I'm someone who works 12 hours a day, weekends. So I wanted a coach who would understand that lifestyle. Honestly, I didn't know what I was getting into when I hired a coach. I didn't know if it was going to be inspirational quotes all the time. I didn't know if it was going to be things that I could have just Googled for myself, if it was just going to be weigh all your food. And so that was probably my biggest reservation of, is this person actually going to have knowledge that I can't just obtain through a 15-minute Google search? Like, what is the actual value add of hiring a coach? Someone who understands the lifestyle of someone who's in a senior position at their job, or has a family or has a life. So someone who just understands the realities of being a working woman, and what that means, and how you put personal life and fitness and health into that reality. Just move through life, honestly, and move through life with a little bit more confidence and just more ability to do things in life and not worry about limitations of my body. So that for me by far is the biggest change that I've seen. I also went from running 0 miles, honestly walking, let's any sort of movement for any miles, to I ended up running a 10K. And yeah, it's so exciting. And what I was most proud about that was just the timing of that. It is a time that's actually quite respectable in the running community. So it's a pace and a mileage time that I could carry for 6.2 miles or a 10K, depending on your distance. Just like getting back more into lifting and having an actual weightlifting program was really great for me. I would just always eat whatever I wanted, and I still do, which is great. But just thinking about the trade-offs and the choices, and just feeling really empowered to make choices about my food and about my diet. So nothing is off limits, which I love. So I can have pizza, and I do, and I can have ice cream, and I do. But I'm now just more cognizant of, okay, if I have that, what are the trade-offs around how my body will feel, and what are the trade-offs of how I feel the next day when I go into a workout or when I have an early meeting, and how does that food and eating affect how I'm sleeping and energy in the next day. So I'm just thinking more about it from a holistic perspective rather than just what gives me immediate satisfaction. I really appreciated her endless optimism. I remember coming in one of our meetings and I was like, here are all the things I don't like. So I don't like jumping jacks. I don't like this. I don't like that exercise. I don't like this food. Yuck. I don't eat that food group. And so just giving her a list of things I don't like. And her response was, okay, so let's talk about what you do like. And like just building a program around likes. And there were so many times when I would, come to session with, again, the realities of work or life, things are happening. And she just was always so positive, so optimistic. She always encouraged me. I originally wanted to set my goal for a 5K for the running, and she just really pushed me from our first meeting to saying, like, let's set a more ambitious goal. I know you can do it. And just having someone who always believed in the progress and trusted the process. Even when I didn't, it was really nice to know that someone else believed that I could make progress to my goals. Always having someone in your corner, I just can't stress that enough. And just having someone, again, with the positive outlook and the positive attitude, as opposed to a drill sergeant person, is just, for me, was exactly what I needed. Just encouragement all the way through. I also like Rosie's style about measurements and metrics. Oh my gosh. So as an analytics professional, for me, this is just critical to understand that everything is quantified, everything is tracked, everything is measured, and it's done in a quick, easy way. I actually liked that I was empowered to choose my metrics and what I wanted to track. So that was really important to me. Actually really liked the technology element of the system. So the fact that so much the system was tracked through a Trello board, which is a project management system, and so much of the system was tracked just through taking photos rather than other systems require you to enter every ingredient and every single food that you eat. I don't have time for that. So just to be able to snap a photo and send it, the new technologies being used just made it so much more lightweight and easily ingrained in just my lifestyle. If something wasn't working, we didn't stick with it and push through it. It was like, okay, let's pivot. Especially, my goodness, during COVID when we were trying to set up an exercise plan. Like, first we tried my bedroom, then we were like, okay, let's try taking it outside. And it just wasn't working because we weren't finding the right equipment to use in like parks and like just like outside, right? So just always being flexible of like what's possible given the situation now and recognizing that situations change. That was just so helpful. And just knowing there'd be no like backlash or judgment for that. I would absolutely recommend Rosie. I think it's really important for people to invest in themselves. And I found this to be one of the best investments I've made for myself. Getting the tools, the system set up, and just, again, having someone who's supportive of you along the way. Could you do it yourself? Sure. But do you change your car oil by yourself? Do you build a car by yourself? Do you fly a plane by yourself? Why not just get help from someone who has the experience and expertise to make your journey that much faster and accelerate what you're doing? So 10 out of 10 stars, highly recommend, must buy.